Hey all, how are you doing? Hope everybody are doing fine. And today I have come up with the second chapter of class 8th science, that is microorganisms, friends and foe. First chapter, that is crop production and management, is already completed. Its playlist link is provided in the description. Please go and watch if you have not watched it. So definitely they are the wonderful videos with beautiful visuals, right? And I am starting with the second chapter, and this chapter is all about the so-called microorganisms. Clear? So what do you mean by microorganisms? This word is not a new word for us. You must have been heard this word in your previous classes also. And you know, it's a common word used in our day-to-day life, right? By everyone. Microorganism. The word micro itself means small. Micro is small, macro is big. And we know what you mean by organism, right? Organism is nothing but some living thing. Living things are called organism. Usually if something is very small, you know, we say it as microorganism, right? And they are very small species or living things which can do many big things in the environment, right? And these small creatures are present everywhere, and these small creatures are responsible to shake the human beings. I mean, you know what, it can do many wonders in the body of a human being. At the same time, you know what, this can kill a human being. Such a small organism which you cannot see it from your naked eye can kill the big animals like human beings and many other animals, right? Say they have many advantages and they have lots of disadvantages. I mean, they are harmful. At the same time, they are useful also. There are many organisms which are very much useful. You know, without these microorganisms in a human body, we cannot live a healthy life. They are helpful for our digestion. You know what, they are helpful for various chemical reactions every minute that is taking place inside a body, right? So that way they are very much beneficial. At the same time, you must have heard about the virus called coronavirus, which is making a lot of news, right, nowadays. And this coronavirus is a type of microorganism, I can say. And this small creature, which you cannot even imagine how small it is. So such a small creature is killing, you know, the human beings. Human beings are very complex organisms. They are very complex bodies. So such complex bodies are getting destroyed simply just by a small organism like virus, right? So that way they are very much dangerous also. So in our entire chapter, we are going to discuss about useful microorganisms, like what beneficial things they do for human beings and for plants and animals. And later we will also discuss about the harmful microorganism, what way they are harmful to human beings, animals and plants. So all of them will be discussed in a chapter, right? So first and foremost, let us try to understand few basic things about microorganism. So how can I write a definition here? They are nothing but very small. You can open your book, pen and start writing along with me. The purpose of me writing on a board is to make you all copy the points in your book, because you know, teaching notes or the running notes, which I call, is the best reference in your books, right? And you can learn something when you learn by writing, not just reading, right? So writing the things will help you a lot. That's the reason I'm also writing on a board. So along with me, if you can copy down all these points, it's well and good. Fine. So they are very small organisms which cannot be seen by naked eyes. We cannot see them with our eyes. But how we can see them? We can see through microscopes. Okay, we can see, or we can study, we can observe the movements of microorganisms with the help of a instrument called microscope. You must have seen these microscopes in schools, isn't it? So they are always observed through microscopes. They are very small organisms which you cannot see from naked eyes, is called microorganisms, right? And there are varieties of microorganisms, and those microorganisms are classified mainly into 4 categories. Okay, so the next thing I am going to teach you is about classification of microorganisms. So they are classified mainly into 4 categories. Let us try to understand what are those 4 categories. The first one, we have a type of microorganism called bacteria. Bacteria. And the picture is shown on a board. You can see how a bacteria looks like. Okay, so how do you have a bacteria? You know, they are rod-like structures. They are rod-like structures. Clear? And these bacteria are actually unicellular organisms. They are unicellular organisms. They just have a single cell. You know what? Our human body is made up of crores and crores of cells. But these bacteria is made up of just a single cell. They have a very simple structure, very tiny organism, but can do lots of things, lots of complicated things for human beings. Okay, so that is our bacteria, first variety of microorganisms which are unicellular and much simple organisms, right? And the second category is algae. Algae. So where do you find the algae? You can see the picture of algae there. Algae is nothing but that green colored stuff that gets segregated in ponds, lakes, etc. So when you have a water left out, stagnant water, you know, after few days you would observe that green colored stuff, right, that got accumulated in a water. So that green color thing is actually a group of crores and crores of microorganisms which belong to a category called algae. Here, so that is what we mean by algae. So there are 2 important examples for algae. So I am giving the examples of algae. Say there are varieties of species, variety of types of algae. Okay, so 2 different types of algae I am mentioning here. One is Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas. Say in case of biology, you know, remembering the names is also very important. You'll have a scientific names where many of them feel difficult to remember those scientific names, but you know, remembering this scientific name is one of the challenging part in case of biology, right? So concentrate on scientific names. Chlamydomonas is one type of algae, and the other one is you know, Spirogyra. This is a very famous algae, very common algae that you will find in wet areas, right? So these are the 2 examples for algae. And coming to the third category, I'm talking about the third category of microorganism, that is fungi. So where do you find the fungi? You can just observe the picture of fungi on a board. So what does the picture tell you? Yes, beautiful mushrooms, right? Yes, mushrooms belong to fungus category. And mushrooms are actually quite big. And there are very tiny, you know, organisms under the group fungi. Okay, for example, bread mold. What do you mean by bread mold? See, when you keep a bread in a moist areas or in wet areas, you know what, in a day or 2 days, you would observe that black colored stuff on a bread, which you can see it in a picture, right? So black thing that gets accumulated on a bread, and that makes the bread to get spoiled. You can't eat such bread, and it smells bad also, right? And when you eat such breads, it leads to diseases. And what is that thing, black color thing that is there on a bread? It is called a microorganism which belongs to a type called fungi. Okay, so the best example is, yes, bread mold. Bread mold is an example. Aspergillus. Aspergillus is an example. Okay, so all these are examples for fungi. And coming to the fourth category, that is protozoa. Protozoa is another type of microorganisms which you can see it in a picture. The best examples for protozoa is amoeba. Yes, this is a common word. Amoeba is a common word that you heard from your lower classes onwards, right? And paramecium. Paramecium is another type of protozoa. So usually this type of microorganisms are quite dangerous to human body. Okay, they lead diseases. They lead to diseases. Clear? So these are the four major types of microorganisms: bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa. And there is another variety of microorganisms. We actually do not call them as microorganisms. They are separately called with the name viruses. Okay, viruses or virus, just virus. So what do you mean by a virus? Even these guys are small organisms that can live, that can stay alive only in host. Host means some living organism. Okay, say these are very small organisms. Okay, they can stay alive, they can live only in a living body, right? So without a living body, they would soon die. They will not live without a living system. So definitely if they want to stay alive, they need a body called host. Okay, we call that body as host. What is host? Host can be any living organism. Clear? It can be a small animal, or it can be a big animals like humans. Clear? So that is the nature of virus. Say even this coronavirus, which is spreading a lot nowadays, can stay alive within a body. Once it has come out of the body, it cannot stay alive. It will die. It may stay alive for few hours, but it cannot reproduce. It cannot multiply itself. It cannot regenerate. It will soon die. Okay, say viruses, but very, very dangerous microorganisms are these viruses, right? So that is the another type of microorganisms you have. Okay, so they are also very small organisms that will stay alive only in a living body, which we call it as a host. So this is the basic introduction of microorganisms, right? Okay, and see the virus picture. If you want the picture of virus, you can look at the board. How does it look? It will have a very different structure, something like this. And they are called with different names, and this is one part, this is another part of a virus body, and this is the third part, and the names of these parts and about their structures you will study it in a higher levels. Okay, fine. And now the big question is, where do these microorganisms live? I am now talking about where do microorganisms, MO is the shortcut I am using, but you should write with the full form in your books. Where do microorganisms live is the question. So what is the answer for that? They live everywhere in hot desert. They live in hot springs. They live in desert area. They live in marshy or wet areas. Okay, and they even live inside the body of human beings, inside the body of humans, animals, plants, everywhere microorganisms are there. And if you look at your skin through microscope, you would observe some round colored stuff keeps on moving. What is that? Nothing but microorganisms. Okay, see, on a chalk piece holder, I have a microorganisms. On a board, you may be having microorganisms everywhere. Soil has the crores and crores of varieties of microorganisms. Air has microorganisms. Our body has lots of microorganisms. So there is no place without microorganisms. Everywhere microorganisms are present. Okay, see, microorganism population is huge compared to the population of all plants, animals, or humans, or whatever. Okay, so you can't even imagine the population of microorganism. It's a huge. Everywhere they are present. Okay, fine. But among them, most of them are beneficial to animals, plants, or humans. Okay, few are harmful, and let us discuss the useful microorganisms as well as harmful microorganisms. See, in the entire chapter, we are going to learn about useful microorganisms as well as harmful microorganisms. And today, I am going to complete the useful microorganisms. See, what way microorganisms are helpful for human beings, plants, animals. That's what we are discussing today. Okay, and let me discuss all of them one by one. See, the first use. Microorganisms are used in making curd and bread. Okay, so in making curd and bread, right? Say, how do you make a curd? Can you able to recall how your mothers make a curd? If you don't know the process, please go and ask her right now. And then come back to the video and watch it. See here, what do? We take a milk and we will heat it slightly. Okay, very slight heating we will do. That means you should not heat the milk to boiling. You shouldn't boil it. You just have to heat for about 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. That much. And to that we add curd. Okay, little amount of curd, half a spoon of curd will be added, right, to one big bowl of milk. And after 3 hours or 4 hours, this entire milk will become solid. This entire milk will become solid, and that solid is nothing but curd, right? So milk got converted into curd. And to convert milk into curd, what you have added? Little amount of curd you have added to preheated milk, right? Say, what might have happened in the milk so that the entire milk became solid, its taste has changed, its nature is changed, its chemical properties are changed, completely a new thing you have got, that is curd. See, actually, you have added little amount of curd, isn't it? So that curd contain bacteria. It has certain useful bacteria called lactobacillus. What is the name of bacteria? Lactobacillus. Okay, try to remember the name. Very, very important. This is the useful bacteria you have in a curd. Okay, so that lactobacillus bacteria will multiply in a milk, right? Say one organism would become 2, 2 will become 4, 4 would become 16, 16 would become 32, like that. They would multiply gradually. And they multiply so much extent that entire milk gets converted into curd. So it is this guy which is converting milk into curd. Okay, so this lactobacillus is continuously multiplying in a milk at a particular temperature. So what will this lactobacillus do? It multiply. It multiplies. That means it grows. Multiplies in the sense what? It grows continuously in milk at moderate temperature. At moderate temperature, right? You would have heated that milk to some temperature. You have not boiled, you just heated it, right? So that temperature is necessary for converting milk into curd. So which is the wonder organism that's doing a great work inside a milk to get converted into curd? It is our bacteria. It's a type of microorganism belonging to class bacteria, that is lactobacillus. So one of the variety of bacteria called lactobacillus is converting milk into curd. Clear? So this way, you know what? Our microorganisms are helpful in converting milk into curd. And not only that, you know what? To get a soft cakes, to get a soft idlis, dosas, bread, pastries, you know what you will add to them? You will add something called yeast, isn't it? See, for soft bread, cakes, etc., yeast is added. Yeast is added. What do you mean by yeast? Yeast is also a microorganisms which belong to a class called fungus. Okay, so yeast is a type of fungi. It's a type of fungi, and this yeast is added to bread, cakes, etc. Only then you get that soft and fluffy food items. So what is happening inside a bread? What is this yeast doing inside a bread? So actually this yeast will convert sugar into other acids or alcohol with carbon dioxide, with the liberation of carbon dioxide. Okay, say any type of sugar can get converted into some acids, alcohol or carbon dioxide. Okay, so with the help of yeast. So yeast is actually bringing a chemical reaction here. See the bread, how do you make a bread? You may make it with maida, you would add little amount of sugar, etc., right? So that sugar, whatever is there, that sugar is getting converted, okay, into some acids or alcohol with the liberation of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, and this carbon dioxide gas, you know what? This is the one. This carbon dioxide gas is responsible. This is responsible for increasing volume of dough. So what do you mean by dough? It's like the atta that you will mix it with water, right? Say you can do an activity even at your home here. Say you take a bowl of maida. You can take a bowl of maida. Okay, you add little amount of yeast to this, and you leave it for 2 to 3 hours as it is, and you just observe how your maida dough would look like. Okay, so you take one bowl of maida, you add a pinch of yeast, add water nicely, you mix it and make it like a chapati dough. Okay, and allow it to stand for 2 to 3 hours, and you observe the same dough. How does it look? You know, it would increase its volume. Okay, previously your maida was just half the container, right? Now, you know, the container would become full with maida dough. It would increase its volume. It will look very much fluffy and soft. So what would have happened here? Whatever the sugars, maida would contain some sweetness, okay, or you can add a spoon of sugar also here. So what will this yeast do? It will convert sugar into these things, and also a gas gets liberated, that is carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide will try to escape from the dough, but it cannot escape. It will get stuck in the pores that are present in the dough. Okay, it's because of this carbon dioxide gas produced, and the dough would become more in its volume, and it would become more fluffy and soft. Okay, so that's the reason yeast is always added to breads, cakes, etc. to make them fluffy and soft. Right. So what is yeast here? Yeast is a type of fungi. It has a microorganism. It's a type of microorganism that will mainly convert your sugars into some acids, alcohol, or carbon dioxide. Okay. Say usually that's how when you keep these things for 2 hours or 3 hours, they taste a little sour. You will have a little sour taste, is because of some kind of acids produced in that. And don't think that they are dangerous, right? No, those acids are not actually dangerous. They are beneficial only for human beings. Create. Okay? So that's all about the useful microorganisms which are very much helpful in making curd, bread, cakes, or whatever it is. So which organism is responsible for converting curd into milk? It is lactobacillus. And which organism is responsible for that fluffy soft cakes? It is yeast, which belongs to a category fungi. Okay, this is one of a common use of microorganisms in day-to-day life, right? That's all about today's video, guys. And the rest of the useful things of microorganisms will be discussed in the next video. That is commercial use of microorganisms, antibiotics. Microorganisms is used as antibiotics, that is microorganism in the field of medicine, and then microorganisms to improve the fertility of a soil, and microorganisms as cleansing agents for environment. All these things we will discuss in the next video. And do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.